And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. If you'd like additional weather information, you can always go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. And I show you this map here of the continental U.S. It kind of shows you the interface. You point and click anywhere on this map. It'll bring up a local forecast with any relevant watches, warnings, or advisory. And just as a snapshot, because we have a lot of people that have friends and family in other parts of the nation, or you may be traveling to or from an area, we have a weather system that'll be crossing the western interior and the Rockies, bringing, we have winter storm watches, warnings, weather advisories here through much of the Intermountain Four Corners region and the central Rockies. As that system emerges into the plains, it's going to produce strong gusty winds, red flag warnings for critical fire weather conditions in the same troubled areas of eastern New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle, and eventually there'll be a threat of severe weather here in this region as we go through midweek. Up in Alaska, we've had some very, very cold temperatures across the far north along the Arctic coast. Air temperatures in the 40s below zero the past several days, with wind chills as cold as 80 below. The winds have let up along the Arctic coast, but we still have some low wind chills continuing along the west coast, especially Seward Peninsula, Kotzebue, Norton Sounds, and then areas of the interior along and south of the Brooks Range there to the north of Fairbanks. But we're going to see a warmer surge of air coming up out of the North Pacific. First of all, midweek, as low pressure moves up into the Gulf, that'll impact the Panhandle and Gulf Coast. And as that system gets underway here tomorrow, Wednesday through Thursday, it's going to bring moderate to heavy rain and snow with gusty gale force winds and rising snow levels. A warmer pattern will be unfolding across much of the state. It's going to be a gradual process, but certainly as we go through next week with the southeast Panhandle drying out for a change. Not uncommon when we get at this type of pattern shift coming up in the late winter, early spring. So new exit, clear skies, 35 below zero as of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. New exit had the state's low temperature of 42 below zero this morning. Many areas there along the Arctic coast have seen temperatures colder than 40 below over the past several days. As we go southwestward, Chetulik on the east side of Norton Sound is under a wind chill advisory. Clear, breezy conditions, temperature minus 11. That's the air temperature, but wind chills could be as cold as 35 to 50 below zero, especially at night and during the morning hours. Now, as we go across the Kenai Peninsula, got some heavier snowfall since yesterday evening. Whittier, as of early afternoon, snow and fog there with 34 degrees, over a foot to 20 inches of snow falling there, areas west of Whittier. And also down along the Seward Highway and through that stretch from east end of Turnagain Arm through Turnagain Pass and down towards Summit Lake, as much as 16 inches of snow there. Cape Spencer there on the outer northern coast there of the Panhandle, showers, some light showers and fog, 40 degrees, but you're going to see windier conditions developing there as we go through Wednesday into Thursday with some moderate to heavy rain developing. So here are the current watches, warnings, advisories of import. This winter weather advisory for the eastern Kenai up into the western Prince William Sound will expire literally as I'm speaking. So snow's there, letting up. Conditions improving. We still have wind chill warning for wind chills as cold as 65 below at Anatuvik Pass, Adigan Pass area. And as we go down here, this area north of Fairbanks along the highway there could see some gusty winds and blowing snow at the summits. To the west, wind chill advisories, southwest slope here of Brooks Range down, say the Noatak River Basin, Kotzebue, all of Seward Peninsula down along the east side of Norton Sound. Wind chills as cold as 35 to 50 below zero through early Thursday afternoon. So again, breezy conditions will continue despite the clear skies. And then we have potential for some notable warming this weekend across the Alaska Range. You're going to get some downslope with that. But here, back through the Panhandle, this is what's going to be happening for this midweek, Wednesday, Thursday. We anticipate a warm and windy low pressure system coming up out of the North Pacific. That's going to bring rain and snow. Best chance of accumulating snow will be up here, the northern panhandle, where the cold air holds on the longest. That's why there is a winter storm watch there for the Haines and Klondike highways. As much as 6 to 10 inches of snow could fall, especially Wednesday evening through Thursday morning. And we also anticipate, as that low works its way up right toward Cape Suckling, that with the milder air being drawn northward, we're going to see the snow levels rising throughout the panhandle to at least 4,000 feet in the southern part of the panhandle, and probably some areas above 3,000 feet there in the northern panhandle. So putting the maps in motion, weak lingering low here. That's what gave the snow to the eastern Kenai and areas on the west, north side there of Prince William Sound. That feature's washing out. Here's the hints of the next low that's energy that's going to be racing northeastward up into the Gulf tomorrow and on Thursday. To the west, we have an area of low pressure south, the Aleutians. That's going to kind of energy shift eastward and link up with the system that's going to take shape there for midweek. Up across the Arctic coast, bitter cold air continues here along the Beaufort Sea coastline. And we've had the cold air come all the way down along the west side of the state, as we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks was going to happen, and now across the Alaska Peninsula. We still have areas of heavy freezing spray in areas of the southeast Bering and areas on the Pacific side of the Alaska Peninsula, as some strong gap winds coming through the passes, some heavier snow squalls, and again those gusty winds creating conditions with the cold temperatures very favorable for heavy freezing spray. So on the weather map this Monday afternoon, here's that low that brought the snow to the Kenai Peninsula. That's weakening, front washing out. Here comes the next weather maker. This low will be lifting northeastward up into the central Gulf on Wednesday into Wednesday night. So late tonight into early Wednesday morning, low pressure continues to weaken. Along the west side of the Kenai Peninsula. A couple of weak lows extend northeastward up into northwest Canada. High pressure generally in control over eastern Russia and the northern parts of the state along the North Slope. But by Wednesday afternoon, here comes the next low with the warm front arcing ahead of it. That's what's going to be bringing in the moisture, the winds, and areas that have temperatures above freezing will be rain, moderate to heavy rain. But as this moisture lifts northward with the front, we do anticipate some heavier snowfall in the northern panhandle along the Haines and Klondike highways. And by the time we get into Thursday, that low already lifts up into the northwest portion of Canada, occluded front. This is eventually just stalls out. This front becomes a stationary front, and then the next low will be lifting back up toward the western Gulf for the weekend. So it's going to be active in this area. It's going to allow milder temperatures to return to along the Gulf and especially the panhandle at first. Cold air hugs here the west coast and in the north. That will hold through the rest of this week and into the early weekend, but then we're going to start to see things change. There's another low and strong front out to the west, and that's going to help pull milder air northward as we go through early and middle of next week. So quite a change on the way. Looking at temperatures though, Wednesday morning, lows generally above freezing across much of the panhandle and areas to the west. We are expecting temperatures to be in the 20s around Anchorage and over toward Valdez. Teens up through the Copper River Basin. If you're on the other side of the Alaska Range, it's below zero. That cold air, the Alaska Range has prevented the really cold air from getting all the way down into Anchorage. And here we have temperatures in the lower 40s, especially low mid 40s here along the southern and outer western portion of the panhandle from Ketchikan on up toward Sitka. Even readings up near 40 at Juneau. And to the west, we anticipate temperatures to get into the mid-30s along the Kenai Peninsula and up to Anchorage. And for Thursday morning, lows are going to be above freezing most areas except for the far northern panhandle around Haines, Skagway. So this is the area that could see the heaviest snowfall with this system. Other places will have rain. The freezing levels rising, the snow levels rising, so at least along coastal areas near the water will be all rain. To the west, we still have cold air though off to the west, but temperatures still back up around freezing or a little above that there across south central, and temperatures across the Panhandle low and mid 40s during the day on Thursday. In the far north, this is very cold air that continues to sit up here. It is slightly moderating. Still, some areas could be down around or just below 40 below come Wednesday morning, and widespread sub-zero temperatures throughout the Yukon Valley and the Seward Peninsula. You combine some brisk winds here along the west coast and in areas of the interior. You're going to still have wind chill advisories and warnings. Temperatures Wednesday afternoon, warmest along the Alcan border in the 20s there at Eagle and Northway. But up here toward the north, still readings in the teens and 20s below along the North Slope and Arctic coast. And come Thursday morning, we could still see some lows in the 30s below here along areas of the North Slope and Arctic coast. Otherwise, 20s below still very common. And temperatures Thursday afternoon still well below zero in the teens to low 20s below there in the far north. Little moderation around Fairbanks. There will be a push of milder air and some downslope Chinook winds that will help warm things up over this weekend and especially into next week. So we are going to get a break from the cold, especially in areas of even the north and west side of the state. We have widespread, though, sub-zero temperatures Wednesday morning west of the Alaska Range throughout the southwest interior, even down to the coast because we have cold north-northeast offshore flow, and temperatures into the teens down along the Alaska Peninsula, even below freezing in the 20s there in through the Aleutians. And then Wednesday afternoon, some areas plus, give it single digits above or just below zero. 20s along the Alaska Peninsula and below freezing in the Aleutians. Thursday morning, still cold north and west of the Alaska Range up through the lower middle Yukon Valley. And as you go up the Kuskokwim, still temperatures there below zero with teens and lower mid-20s along the Alaska Peninsula and the Aleutians. And Thursday afternoon, temperatures may start to finally break up into the single digits above zero for highs across the southwest interior, and temperatures in the 20s to maybe near 30, the Alaska Peninsula down through at least the eastern Aleutians. But this is what I want to show you, because when we have these kind of pattern changes, like the one that we're just experiencing really showed the cold air hammering the north and west side of the mainland. Now we're going to see the reverse. We're going to get temperatures to warm across much of the state here. March 19th is the spring equinox. It's an astronomical event. Doesn't mean spring weather is going to arrive, but this time around we're going to see it coincide with some warmer temperatures. A ridge of high pressure is going to bring warmer temperatures to much of the state, especially here in through the southwest interior, going up the Yukon and Kuskokwim rivers, Bethel, Dillingham, up toward McGrath, and places like Galena. Panhandle too, not too bad. As we go into a little further into late next week, the following weekend, we still see the greatest potential for above normal temperatures here, setting up along the west and southwest side of the state. Well, above normal temperatures doesn't mean it's spring. In fact, often it comes with more precipitation, which still cold enough you're going to be dealing with snow or a mix of precipitation. Panhandle sees temperatures a bit above normal too, but the greatest anomaly, the greatest likelihood here across western and northern side of the state. And with this milder air will come some storminess and additional precipitation, especially across the west, northwest side of the state, creeping up in through the middle Yukon Valley. So be aware. Could be definitely some more accumulating snows, and would be a good thing because some of these areas have not seen that much in the way of snow here in quite a while. Back here, though, through the Panhandle, this pattern lends toward temperatures to warm but also drier conditions, and it's going to means that we're going to see more systems coming in off the Bering out of the North Pacific and impacting especially the western mainland. And as we go into March 20th through the 26th, still drier than normal conditions likely across the Panhandle, but we could see and at least the precipitation continuing to trend above average across the western and especially northern portions of the mainland.